Greetings dear students, welcome to session 10 and let us have a quick recap of what we did in session 9. So in session 9 we discussed about functions. So in general, a function is a formula that is executed in some given order, and Excel provides a huge number of built-in functions which we have understood in our last session in the Excel ribbon. So today, under the same functions, we are going to learn about sum, which we had discussed more in detail in last session, sumif, sumifs and sum product. So let us look at them one by one. Starting with sumif. So sumif is a function which is used conditionally to arrive at a total, and the syntax in general will be sumif, open brackets, range, comma, criteria, then you have to select the sum range too. Now let us discuss what is range. We know that range is a parameter and it actually comprises of the range of cells that we will be evaluating with the help of the given criteria parameter. And what is criteria? Criteria is nothing but the condition which is required to be met. Let us understand this with the example in the Excel. Now look at the following set of data. Here I have item details, date of purchase and cost. And before I venture into the details of sumif, we should know certain other important conditions. Usually the sumif formula is embedded in the Excel. So you can, if you type equal to sumif, open brackets, you can see the syntax will be already available. You only have to incorporate the range and the criteria to arrive at the desired results. So for the ease of understanding, I have already typed the formula here. So it is equal to sumif, open bracket, range. Now this range is nothing but the data which you have to cover in order to arrive at a parameter. Now in order to have this criteria, there are some important conditions which needs to be followed. The details of the criteria has to be in inverted commas except if they are numbers, an inbuilt formula, true or false or cell reference. And the second thing is the criteria is not case sensitive either. It means that it can be in small letters or capital letters. And the last but not the least, the square bracket which you can see here is not compulsory to be filled in if the formula is complete without the sum range. So let us understand this concept with the help of an example. Consider this example, total cost of all brakes bought. So we have to arrive at the result wherein I have to calculate the total cost of all brakes bought from this data, which comprises of window, service, brakes, tires and clutch details. So we have to pinpoint and pick the clear-cut analysis and details only. So let us do this with the help of the sumif function. In order to start being the first time, with the help of a tabular column, I am going to ease your understanding. So divide this tabular column into three things, that is range, criteria and sum range. So we have written here, typed here range, criteria and sum range. What is range here? Range always corresponds to criteria. And what is the criteria here? The details required. So I require the brake details. So brake details becomes the criteria. And what is the sum range? Sum range is with respect to details of requirement, that is cost here. So I require the cost. So now corresponding to these details, let me formulate the formula. So equal to sumif, I'll cover the data, which data I have to cover, that is with corresponding to my criteria. So my criteria lies under items, comma, then you need to type the criteria in inverted comma because they are not numbers, they are not inbuilt function or formula, and they are not true or false, neither they are self-reference. And remember, it can be in any case. Close the bracket, close the inverted commas, and then cover the cost range, that is the column D, in order to give the sum range, and then say enter. So you can see here, this corresponds to the total cost of all the brakes bought. Similarly, we have one more question where we need to incorporate and find out the total cost of all tires bought. So here also we use the same function, equal to sumif, open brackets, cover column B, which consists of the items, then comma, type tires, because it is the tires details which I require, put it in inverted commas, then comma, and cover the cost details, and then say enter. This function can be also used to arrive at an item cost above a certain value. Let us look at this question. It says that total of items costing more than 100 pounds. So what's the formula to be used? Very simple. Here remember, I don't have I have one set of criteria, okay, and that criteria is more than 100, that is the amount, and sum range is always cost, hence I will not be incorporating anything in the square bracket, that is sum range. So let us understand this with formula, equal to sumif, open brackets, cover the range. So cover the range here happens to be my amount, comma, put the criteria in inverted commas, okay. Then here if you observe, even though this is numbers, I am putting in inverted columns because this has got some precedence before it. So if it is only 100, then I wouldn't have used the inverted commas, but because it has got greater than or equal to 100, so I am using the inverted commas. So I'll start again, equal to sumif, open brackets, cover the range, comma, put the greater than or equal to 100 in the inverted commas and close the bracket. No need to give the sum range again because already range is covered, and then say enter. So you can see this is the total cost of the item above 100. So you can observe that sumif function can be used for multiple detailing. Let us look at the next function, sumifs. So consider this data. Here we have employee code, first name, department, region, branch, salary. In order to use the sumif, here again as usual, let us simplify the formula. Sumifs is used when there are more than one criteria. If there is just one criteria, then you can always use the sumif function. If there are more than one criteria, then you have to use sumifs function. The formula is same, equal to sumifs, open bracket, sum range, then you have criteria range 1, then criteria range 2, then criteria 2. If you observe, the difference between the sumifs and sumif is, in this case, that is in the sumifs case, the sum range comes first, whereas in the sumif case, the sum range was in the end. And in order to understand this formula easily, let me differentiate with the help of a tabular column the criteria 1, 2 and 3. So my sum range is the salary, because what is my question? Total salary of the employees in south region of sales department more than 50,000. So my sum range becomes my salary. Criteria 1 is the south region. Criteria 2 is the sales department. Criteria 3 is a salary more than 50,000. So here let us do the formula. Very simple, equal to sumifs. Open the bracket. Now first thing what I have to cover? Salary. So that is in column G. Comma. Second thing I have to cover? Criteria. The criteria is which one? The region. So you can cover the region or you can cover even sales department. So in this question I have covered the column D, and next to that you have to give the criteria, and then you can cover the column E, that is a region, and next to that criteria give the south, and remember everything is in inverted commas. Then cover the salary, that is the criteria. Why I am covering again salary? Because my criteria is more than 50,000, and then put that in the inverted commas and then say enter. So you can see here the answer is 85,000. Let us understand this. So I am going to mark here, I am going to select sales. So sales, so this is sales and this is sales. And look, remember we are talking about only south region. So we have south region, south region. So if you observe, so this is not a south region. So I have only 2 sales of south region, but he is asking more than 50,000. So remember students, this is equal to 50,000, hence this is not selected. So it is going to select, my syntax is going to select only which is more than 50,000. Hence the answer will be 85,000. So you can see, and this data can be applied to n number of rows and columns to arrive at the results. And this range, that is criteria, can work up to 30 criteria. And let us move to the next function, and that is sum product. Look at this set of data. I have the quantity sold, price per quantity. How do I arrive at sales? Simple. Take the formula, multiply the quantity into the price. Then click the data and then arrive at the total. Okay. So if you observe, this required a set of 2 to 3 functions for me. I have to calculate the sales, then I have to calculate the total. To make this very simple, we can use a different formula called as sum product formula. What does sum product formula do? So here you can see this function uses at least 2 columns of values. The values in the first column are multiplied with the corresponding second column to arrive at the result. So let me look at this formula. Very simple. Equal to sum product, cover the data, comma, and cover the price and just say enter. With the help of this, you have arrived at the answer, that is nothing but the total sales value. So dear students, today we have discussed sumif, sumifs and sum product. And I have an activity for you. You can find 3 MCQs for quick recap of this session. Also, I am attaching a data set to practice the discuss function in this session, and the questions and the required details are in the Excel sheet. Kindly do practice and let us get prepared for the coming challenges. Thank you very much.